Welcome back to the Halloween 365 podcast. Oh, you feeling those synthy vibes out there?
Come on, you can do it! You're a pony!
Duh.
You're a pony!
It does feel like workout.
Synthy vibes?
Oh no, synthwave vibes. But I mean, I guess
Richard Simmons vibes.
it does
We're
feel like
simping.
Richard Simmons.
Like a nutty
Simping
professor
for
whenever
Simmons.
he's trying to work out in his living room.
Who?
When the nutty professor's trying to work out in his living room.
The
The neighbor,
I was like, who?
the neighbor's like, stop dropping!
Well, we had to change up our music a little bit because we're doing video now. And we don't want to get hit with any copyrights out there. So we found us some nice synthwave music to kind of blend in the moods of the Halloween spirit of 1980s culture and all that good stuff. Well, fellas,
I feel like the Weeknd's about to bust out a verse on this.
I feel like he is too. I feel like he's gonna come crawling out of the woodworks there, man. Oh. So, how's your guys' weekend been so far? It's weird we didn't record an episode on our traditional Friday. And,
Yes. Work, the 9 to 5 got in the way of our traditional recording for anybody that consistently listens.
Yeah.
So work was in the way for everybody except for Jeremy. And
Did you actually got off on time?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh,
Lucky
I
bastard.
made sure it was too damn busy. I was like, no, I am out.
Man.
but we are continuing this month of cryptids, right, Chad?
That's right. That is correct. We're heading right into the beautiful Cryptid Month here on the podcast. Last week, we talked about the very interesting Beast of Bray Road, if that's what you want. I'm sorry. I can't get over that German Shepherd-esque body style of this creature. Whatever. But today, we're moving on. We got some interesting things we're going to talk about. What are we talking about today, fellas?
Well, at the end of our cryptid tale today, we are going to discuss the real Ghostface, a.k.a. the Gainesville Ripper.
Yeah, not a cryptid, but we figured it was probably just...
With the release of
right to
Scream
do it.
in the U.S., don't know if it's... probably is in like the UK and things like that. But with
I
its
would assume.
release being yesterday, we need to get into the origin of the story. And, Jeremy, what about our cryptid? Who are we talking about? Who are we exploring? And are we going to decide if he's real or fake?
Oh, we're talking about the good old West Virginian ghost in a gown, the Flatwoods Monster.
The ghost in the gown. Man, Beetlejuice doesn't even have that, like, sly of a... what is it? He's the ghost with the most, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
She does look like she's got a
Ghost.
nightgown on with curlers in her hair.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
No,
God.
definitely.
Did
definitely.
Conway write...
I thought you were going to say Conway Twitty.
No, did Conway Twitty write
Oh.
lay you down and softly whisper after he saw the Flatwoods Monster?
Oh, man.
In your favorite cotton gown.
That's.
But yeah, it's
exactly
the
what
Flatwoods
that
Monster.
song is about.
Yeah. Of Flatwoods, West Virginia. Well, not really Flatwoods. What's it called now? Brixton, West Virginia. Yeah, I believe. I think the area is
Braxton
Flatwoods.
County.
Braxton.
Okay, so yes, there we go. Braxton County, West Virginia. Actually, a couple hours drive from where you can see the Mothman in Point Pleasant, which is right on the state line to Ohio.
That's interesting. So they're that close to each other, huh?
2-hour drive into the center of West Virginia instead of because literally Point Pleasant is on the coast. Like you can see Ohio from. Like Jeremy and I, we actually went to go see. We went to Point Pleasant to the Mothman, and we stood on the riverbank and just looked over at Ohio, like because you can see the Silver Bridge from there, the one that fell.
Yeah. Did you guys get to see the statue as well?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did you? Nice.
Walked right up to the statue, went inside of the gift shop, which, by the way, the gift shop is $10, right, Jeremy? Was it 10?
Yeah.
It's worth
To
it.
enter?
Completely worth it. It's only $10 to go inside, and it's not just a gift shop like it's their museum. It's got old news
okay.
articles. It's
That
got
makes
pieces of the Silver Bridge. It's got when the Men in Black came into West Virginia, into Point Pleasant, like pictures of them taken that were put in the newspaper and stuff like that. And then it's got movie memorabilia.
Nice. Mothman Prophecies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was
I
it?
will say,
Richard Gere?
it's not what I expected.
Oh, yeah. I stopped at a UFO when I was coming through New Mexico on my way over here. And it was kind of a bummer. Like, I got some cool patches out of the gift shop and stuff like that, but it was just kind of a letdown. So that's kind of what I expect the Mothman thing to be like, but I don't know if you got to pay to get in, then maybe not.
Well, like he said, there's like a little room you can sit in, and it's got a video playing on repeat all day of everything that's went on with it. So that's cool too.
It's got all the actual video of the news and when it was first sighted and all the stuff that happened after. So you can sit there and watch it in like a tiny, kind of like a film room. It's like it's playing on a projector.
Probably little newspaper clippings out.
Oh, those are in cases, in glass cases and stuff.
Do they have like fucking red lines?
They had a big
Like
statue that somebody had
strings.
made, and its eyes were glowing red, like one that was supposed to be life size. Not the one that's outside, not the big metal one.
Yeah.
And then they had merchandise that had the Mothman on it that was like from the 70s and 80s and shit like that.
Oh, that's cool. Could you still buy that? Or is it out of print?
Now, you can buy merchandise, but it's not that old merchandise.
No.
That's a bummer. I would have wanted an 80s shirt or something. I feel like those would have been really cool.
But the Flatwoods Monster, they have brochures in the Mothman Museum, and the Flatwoods Monster is like 2 hours into the center, opposite direction of Point Pleasant, which, arguably, the Flatwoods Monster has been seen more, reported to be seen more, and especially more recent, because not that many people are saying anything about Mothman, right?
No.
You know, what's weird is I thought that a couple of years ago, maybe like I could be getting this wrong, so if anybody wants to fact check me out there, be my guest, but I thought 2011 or 2012 was the most recent sighting in Chicago, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
He's just flying everywhere.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It was an episode of Expedition X where they interview people, and apparently it flew in broad daylight over the fucking city. But I don't know about. I mean, maybe it is in Chicago. Now they're saying that it's probably some sort of stork or something that has migrated from West Virginia that was really huge. What was it, Chad? It was some bird. Maybe it was an owl, like this giant owl.
I think it was an owl. But, you know, my only problem with that show is Phil Torres is always trying to say everything's a goddamn bird, bat, or crane. It's the whooping crane. I can't, you know. I don't know. Here's a whoop ass
bastard Mothman.
Yeah.
They went and explored the Mothman too. But
Yeah.
So essentially, the Flatwoods Monster is an alien. I don't think that they think it's anything else, right? That's the general consensus of the Flatwoods Monster.
That's my theory on the whole thing. Maybe look at the bastard.
I mean, yeah. So like Jeremy said, it looks like it's got a nightgown on, and but it's
A
the
round,
Flatwoods.
blood red face.
Yeah, well, so that's another thing. They're both from West Virginia, but they both have these glowing red eyes, which is why a lot of people seem to think that people are just seeing big birds in the sky late at night.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's like, what if they're one and the same? Of course, you know, that's the obvious, I guess, rendition of it all. But another thing that makes me kind of question is, what if, you know, I mean, what if it's not an alien? What would it be? Like what could it be? It looks like a rejected poker card. Like
Well,
it
that's what
should
it-
be, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I just read. It said the head looks like a ace of spades.
Yeah, sort of.
Oh,
like
yeah,
when
yeah,
I
yeah.
see it, I just think of poker cards. It's very unusual.
Which this has been depicted in a lot of different ways. It doesn't necessarily look like that if you play Fallout 76. They have a different take on it. I mean, it doesn't have the big headpiece. It's got a headpiece, but it's not this big.
Yeah. It's
but-
a little more sophisticated looking.
Right, yeah. If you look at the comparison to a human, though, it's friggin' huge. What was the consensus? How big?
10 feet.
10 feet
10 feet
tall?
tall.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What kind of
Just
ship would it
large,
had
10
to have
feet
come
tall.
in, you know?
Yeah, it's like, man, good lord.
Or does it fold up like a lawn chair when it's riding in the ship? Or?
Like a space jockey or something. You know, I do have to ask.
Hmm.
What if it's just what if it doesn't have feet? Like all these depictions that I keep seeing is there's no feet. It's
Yeah, you don't
floating.
see anything.
They said
is
it
it-
glides
is
across
it-
the ground.
So it glides at a 10-foot height, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's like that's a
I'm just thinking like it
Huge
going
bitch.
through the woods and hitting branches and shit.
yeah. It doesn't sound very practical for this thing, and the fact that it's in a nightgown,
Hisses.
stumbling around trying to get a drink of water doesn't exactly.
It's
sound
only
like
got
it's
3
like
fingers.
either,
How's
you
it going to pull shit off of it?
Yeah. For me, this one's hard for me to buy. I know before we started this episode, we had a debate on which cryptid we were going to go, and I'm not going to say which cryptid lost this to this one, but I was like, no, I believe in this one over that. Well, I'm starting to change my mind pretty quick the more that I actually think about, like, man, the just the inconvenience of floating around at 10 feet in the forest.
Let's do this then, because we did have another one that we were thinking about. So we're only 12 minutes in.
Yeah.
Let me tell you a little bit about the good old Flatwoods Monster. And if it doesn't seem more convincing to you, then Jeremy, go ahead and have our second participant's information pulled up. So,
Gotcha.
the Flatwoods Monster, also known as the Braxton County Monster, the Phantom of Flatwoods, or AKA Braxy.
Braxy. Sounds like a lake monster.
It sounds like one of the hillbillies around here trying to get creative with their newborn son's name. Braxy.
Braxton.
We got Braxy,
Saxton.
Colton, and River.
River.
My God.
My God. Anyways, good
That
old.
kid's gonna be a sports champion. I'll tell you what.
Oh yeah, he's got a stupid video. Anyways, the Flatwoods Monster. In West Virginia folklore, it is an entity reported to have been sighted in the town of Flatwoods in Braxton County, West Virginia, which, like I said, is not very far from Point Pleasant, where the Mothman is at, or where he's been sighted. But on September 12th, 1952, a bright object crossed the sky and had many different people see this bright object. So basically, it was at 7:15 p.m. Two brothers, Ed and Fred. I'm sorry, Ed and Fred. They couldn't come up with better names.
I'm done. I mean, come on.
That done it for you.
Ed,
That's
Fred,
it,
and their
Ed?
best
Yeah,
friend
Fred.
Tommy Hayer.
Tommy Hare. He works down at the lumber yard. You know,
He bags groceries at Save-A-Lot.
bags groceries. Save a lot. No.
He works at the Piggly Wiggly.
The Piggly Wiggly. It's the one that I knocked over. It's
Oh yeah, that's right.
God.
So, anyways, Ed, Fred, and Tommy said that they saw a bright object cross the sky and land on the property of a local farmer, Mr. G. Bailey Fisher. So the boys went to the home of Kathleen May, where they told their story to Miss Kathleen May. And her, accompanied by the 3 boys and local children Neil Nunley and Ron Shaver, and a West Virginia National Guardsman, Eugene Lemon, went to the Fisher farm in an effort to locate whatever the boys had seen. So they saw something fly across the sky, landing on landing old man Peabody's farm.
Yes.
It's
Mutating some
transformed into-
bitch.
mutated into human form.
With
Oh,
these names, I
man.
feel like this is just a spin-off of Oh Brother,
This
Where
is
Art Thou?
yeah, dude. This is bad. Like this is like. What year did this take place in? You said
1952, September 12th at 7:15.
Of course it did. Of course it did.
Oh wait.
Yeah, they had-
Wait,
yeah,
what
Brad.
year did Marty go back? 1955.
55.
Oh
yeah.
my God!
So there we go. Yeah.
It landed in the
October
barn.
27th, 1955. Yeah.
Sweet Jesus.
Yep. It was Marty.
I wonder if
Marty all along.
if it says anything about the owner of the farm being mad because his pine trees were killed. We know. We know.
Yeah, we know. We know. That's definitely Marty.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Okay, anyways, they went to the Fisher farm in an effort to locate whatever the bright light was that shot across the sky and landed on the farm. The group reached the top of the hill where the local child, Nunley, said they saw a pulsing red light coming from the barn. Lemon said that he aimed a flashlight in the direction and momentarily saw a tall, man-like figure with a round, red face surrounded by a pointy-shaped hood behind its head.
I'm telling you, this sounds familiar.
The description has varied. In an article of Fate magazine based on the tape-recorded interviews, UFO writer Gray Barker described the figure as approximately 10 feet or 3 meters tall, with a round blood-red face, a large pointed hood-like shape that surrounds the back of the head, eyes, shapes which emit greenish-orangish light, and a dark black or green body.
And legs that go all the way.
The man has described the figure as having small claw-like hands, clothing like folds on its outfit, and a head that resembled the ace of spades. According to the story, when the figure made a hissing sound and glided toward this group, Lemon, the National Guard, screamed and dropped his flashlight, causing the group to run away in all directions. The group said that they had smelled a pungent mist, and some later even said that they were nauseated by the smell of this pungent mist that surrounded the 10 feet tall figure that was coming from the barn. The local sheriff and deputy had been investigating reports of a crashed aircraft in the area. They searched the site and reported that was reported to have seen the monster, but they saw, heard, and smelled nothing. According to Barker's account, the next day, Elise Stewart Jr. of Braxton, Democrat, claimed to have discovered skid marks in the field and an odd gummy deposit on the grass, which was subsequently attributed by UFO enthusiasts as an evidence of a flying saucer landing.
So let me just say this: you wouldn't have had this problem if the game warden was called, okay? Because they got more power than the law, and I'll tell you right now, it's ridiculous.
It was the
I mean,
game
think
warden
about
that
this.
solved the Beast of Bray Road. Jesus Christ!
Those
There's too many bees. in
skid
this
marks.
bastard.
skid marks came from Fred's underwear is what that was.
Probably, yeah. No.
It was National
Fred.
Guard officer Lemon that left those skid marks when he
Yeah.
Oh.
shined his flashlight.
My God, we gotta get out of here.
Oh.
Old man Fisher. Thoughts,
Jesus
boys,
Christ.
please, one at a time. Let me know. I want to know.
Germ, go ahead. I got a lot to say about this.
I mean, I do too. The thing that gets me is, I do think it could be an alien. I highly think, just the thing that gets me the most is the clothes. They say it has clothing on, like a gown or whatever. But I mean, in
They said
reality,
that
it does
the-
make me want to say,
They said the body had clothing like. Oh my God!
sorry, I had to. Go ahead.
They said that its skin had or body had clothing like folds.
Yeah, so it's keeping its outfit pretty nice, like.
It's got that alien drip.
So that's the thing. If it's anything to me, it sounds like that this is some sort of an alien being. And then look at where it's at, West Virginia, like you mentioned, Mothman. That they're not far from each other. The Men in Black showed up, which it all relates kind of alienish. So And let's face it, these mountains, they're thick, and it's a perfect place for like a UFO to kind of hide, unless it's wanting to hide in the ocean. But anyway, I'm rambling. I think definitely that's what my intake is on it, especially with the whole mist thing. I mean, but it could be some sort of creature that just evolved over time and decides, hey, I don't want to be naked anymore. I'm gonna throw a gown on, you know. So.
Okay, Chad.
I don't know, man. That John Denver's full of shit. Okay. No, it's for me. I don't believe any of this because I think these guys were pot farmers, and maybe they just got really fucking stoned one night and they're like, how can we make some extra money off this? And they saw their kid's comic book laying there, and then bam, next thing you know, something's in their barn, raising all kinds of hell. And it just so happened, like National Guard. Like, what's up with that?
I guess he lived nearby. Maybe.
Okay, I mean, you know, that was the one weekend he wasn't doing something. So
I want to know, because the Weekend Warriors, you son of a bitch.
I'm sorry.
I want to know why they were like, yeah, let's go get. So Ed and Fred went and got May. They said, "Oh, May'll know what to do."
He'll know.
And then
he'll know.
They said, "Well, we got May. Who else can we add to it? Well, let's go and get the." What was it?
That National Guard fella, he ain't working today.
Yeah, I heard he's off work. And then we got to get the Gulliver twins, the fucking children from the children from the goddamn neighborhood. Let's get all them.
Oh, man.
Tell them to bring their Hot Wheels. We'll have a fucking show.
It sounds
It'll
like
have a hootenanny. A hoedown and a hootenanny all at the same time. Everybody out there stomping.
Old May knows what to do, though. But
he knows.
There were people that thought.
No.
The devil.
No.
Devil.
Oh,
Go into
no.
that. No. Oh, no.
What you mean, Big Day?
No, he doesn't.
So there are people out there that think the same way that Chad does about the Flatwoods Monster, and so there are some conventional. What?
Oh, nothing. Some weird Metallica came on, and I'm like, what the hell is that?
So there are some conventional explanations on the Flatwoods Monster. After investigating the case in 2000, a man named Joe Nickel of the Committee of Skeptical... Oh, well, that'll do it. The Committee of Skeptical Inquiry concluded that the bright light in the sky that they had reported on September 12th in 1952 was most likely a meteor. That the pulsing red light was probably the light of an aircraft reflecting off something in the field, or a hazard beacon somewhere nearby that was in the field. And that the creature described by witnesses was closely resembled to descriptions of an owl in the darkness. Nickel suggests that the witnesses' perceptions were distorted by their heightened state of anxiety. And it has been proven that on this night of September 12th, 1952, a meteor had been observed across 3 states, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia.
So maybe the meteor was causing their cycles to be off balanced a little bit. You know,
They're not
maybe they were out of sync. They weren't synced up or something. I don't know.
That's why they went and got May, because May had been out of town.
May knew what to do. Yeah. Now, was May the National Guard?
No, May was just old
No.
May that lived next door.
It's just old May.
Well, wasn't the they have it as like set up now, the UFO? Is that West Virginia or is that Ohio? You know what I'm talking about? They've got it set up to where you
That's
can
Ohio.
Actually, okay, well, they're neighbors, so like that's what I'm really thinking.
We would have to get into that story of the quote unquote real UFO that is sitting in Ohio that somebody lives in it.
Yeah.
What now?
Yeah. That's a whole nother story that we'll have to jump into.
Why haven't we been talking about this, and why did nobody inform me?
It's got a mailbox out in front of it. They've put concrete supports under this thing.
Oh, dude. I didn't know this existed.
It's in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
The nasty natty, huh?
Yeah, the UFO and the nasty natty. It was apparently recognized by one of the presidents, and he declared the aliens were real. Was it Eisenhower?
Nixon was big on that shit.
It doesn't matter. We're not here to get deep into.
We're jumping around.
I don't know if I'm looking at the right thing. It looks like one of those IEDs or whatever they call them. I see IED.
Yeah.
What are those pregnancy things? UID? Fuck, whatever. Whatever keeps you from getting knocked out.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It looks like one of those birth control things. I don't know if this is...
Okay, hang on.
I think I'm looking at the right thing.
Yeah, you're...
I don't know.
So, you should be looking at this.
Hold on. Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I was looking at.
Yeah, so apparently this is it, and that
It's a squatter
they claimed
shack.
that it was gutted of all technology, and the shell was left there.
Of course. I feel bad. I'm over here giving fucking Phil Torres shit for saying everything's not real, and here I am just bashing the hell out of this. But
just like old Phil, huh?
In my defense, though, normally I'm a believer in things like this, but this is just too fucking far-fetched for me, man.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. So they're neighbors. So do you think that this could have been possibly what the Flatwoods Monster was riding around in? And then, like, the ship crashed. He jumped out over West Virginia. It landed in Ohio.
10 foot, he ain't fitting in this.
I was gonna say, yeah, if he's floating 10 feet off the ground, if that's his preferred
Look
method
at
of
this.
travel.
They got one of these in a park somewhere. Same thing. That can't be real.
Same thing. There it is. Look at that. Come on.
That's too many
I'm not
windows. I'd get
convinced.
motion sickness like a bitch, dude.
Reminds me of that old fair ride like that. You lean back and it spins you. And...
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That was a good. Well,
Yeah.
wasn't it called the?
It kind of reminds me of that old Ethan Hawke movie, The Explorers, or whatever.
I don't... See, there's your alien.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Look at that.
Scratching his chest. But, yeah, no. I think it's legit. That's what I'm thinking.
So you're right. with
You
the fact that
think
you
it's-
think that the Flatwoods Monster is real.
Oh, I think it's real. Yeah. Just because, man, like I said, these mountains are too wild. Even if it's not an alien, it could just be some fucked up morphed creature, you know. But also, look, wrong turn. It could have wrong turn, West Virginia. It could have been a human that just lost their sanity and they look all fucked up now. And they're like, at least I got my gown. Like so.
Floating 10 feet off the ground.
Okay, I forgot
Come
about
on.
that. Yeah, he's 10. I keep forgetting.
You gotta
it's
give
not-
me a break. It's like, no, I get it. 10 feet off the ground. Did he come out on fucking stilts? Like, what's it? No.
Harry hurt.
I can't do-
mean, teeth kittle.
I can't do 10 feet off the ground, bud. I'm sorry. I'm not convinced.
Okay, well, hear me
That's
out.
one of
real
our.
quick.
I tell you what it is. It's one of our friends dressed up as the whooping crane, though. Woo, woo. It comes down
Well, so-
with those talons, and he picks up his prey and carries them off.
No, anything that can fly and grab you, fuck that.
Oh no, I was talking about the whooping crane, Corey with the talons.
Wow.
He comes down.
Oh yeah. Oh, God.
His feet bend and they grab you on the shoulders.
Well, listen, hear me out. So, if you believe that the ancient race that used to be on this earth were giants,
Okay.
that's what it is. It's just one of the last giants.
What? No, it is not one of the last giants. We've not even gotten into the giant thing here on this podcast. There are tables
will.
full of giant fucking bones.
That's all bullshit. Like, I'm sorry.
What?
It has to be. It
Look
has
at
to be.
Andre.
No.
Yeah, these people and that dude that was 8 foot tall. Come on, these are explanations.
It depends on the bones that we're talking about
No.
here, because I think, come on,
I think that there
on.
is a really big possibility that giants were real and that Greek gods, mythical creatures, were real too. For one simple fact, because they weren't sitting around and coming up with like the fucking Pirates of the Caribbean, right? Shit that they.
Why not?
They're not coming up with this elaborate shit where they're running around in a water wheel. They're coming up with and writing about shit that they see. Is my point.
Is that even English?
They
what the
see these monsters out. Obviously, they saw it, and then they wrote about it in the best
Yeah.
description that they could.
Yeah.
That's like the Chinese
enough.
saying that they saw flying ships, that their fucking emperors was flying through the fucking sky. The Chinese are claiming that way back in the day that they had went to space, like Jeff Bezos.
Maybe they did. Maybe they did. It was the flying Nimbus. That's all. Maybe they did.
You mean to tell me there wasn't an incest kid that had one eye that they called the Cyclops that probably went through with a bunch of strength wrecking a village?
No. That's not what I'm getting at. No, I think when we get into it, we'll get into it. But I think we're misunderstanding each other's giant bone theory. We'll compare pictures.
Okay, yeah. Anyway,
Talking about comparing bones, okay?
so consensus from the Halloween 365 podcast. We'll do vote, and obviously somebody's going to get outvoted. Is the Flatwoods Monster real, or was it bullshit? Probably a misunderstanding. We'll say that.
I think it was a misunderstanding. If not, well, you know what? No, complete bullshit. These people were high as a kite. Something was off. Someone cooked with the wrong type of mushrooms that day when Grandma
It was
out
Fred and Ed, by
picking.
God.
It was the moonshine.
It was that
From Old May.
shine. 3 X's is good stuff, and yeah.
Jerem?
Okay, so what? I think it's real, because I do believe that there are some creatures and things out there that we just don't know
Is
about.
it
And this
you
is either-
wanting to believe in the mysticism and wanting there to be something more than just us boring ass humans and these two-eyed animals?
I believe in
It's more
aliens.
than-
I want to say that. I just not.
Yeah, I know. Okay,
Well, so
yeah,
that's-
but
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's more than just me wanting to believe, because of course that's there. But I truly believe that this could have been just a creature that has evolved and not fully got to where it should be or whatever. Or it was an alien, or it could be one of the last remaining giants.
now the giants thing, I'm throwing that out the window.
Well, that, I don't know.
It's got a better chance of being an alien with all the other weird shit that pops up in West Virginia, because then you've got the sheep squatch that's supposedly in West Virginia. You've got the Mothman. The snallygaster from Virginia has even been spotted in West Virginia.
The old snallygaster.
I'll tell you what, I caught him with my wife, that snallygaster. But so I will give it that the alien thing is probably more likely than the giant thing. That's not even in consideration as far as the tale goes. But please do keep in mind that the Flatwoods Monster is not just a story that was told and slightly remembered. The town of Sutton in Braxton County is where the Flatwoods Monster Museum is. Yes, they have a museum just like the Mothman, and they make money off of it too. But if that wasn't enough, there is an annual Flatwoods Days Festival where they commemorate and pay homage to the spotting of the Flatwoods Monster during their festival.
Do they reenact it?
I don't
Please,
know.
God,
It doesn't
tell
go
me they
into
reenact it. I hope they reenact it, because I would just kill to be a fly on the wall at that reenactment.
A lot of them refer to it as the Green Monster.
Get May, Bay, Hay, Tay, and all the other ones. Bring them down here and let's go this thing in the ass.
We're going to Old Fisher's barn. It's done mutated into human form. Shoot it.
If it's still alive, do you think it kind of watches from a distance? It's like fee, fi, fo, fuck these people. Because it's a giant.
It's not a giant.
Not giant.
Oh my god! It's not a giant.
Well, you tell me what. So, 10-foot tall alien is this the Greys?
It floats. Okay, it's like I just want to. Oh my god!
I don't know. Weren't the Nords
I'm
supposed
getting
to be
heated.
really tall aliens?
I mean,
It
yeah.
floats. There's no legs. There's no
Nord-
legs in the description.
It's said to have green skin. It could be a reptilian if it's an alien.
Oh,
Hey, the old woman from the original House on Haunted Hill floated across the floor. That scary old bitch floating. Who's to say the giant's not floating?
Okay, so my vote on it
give
is
you that.
I'm agreeing with Chad. I think it's a misunderstanding. I think they saw a meteor and
Something's just off about it. It's like, trust me, I would like to believe this as much as the next person, but I just can't. There's nothing there. There's not. I believe in Mothman because there was a lot of weird surrounding evidence around it. We had, the FBI, the Men in Black, whatever you
the
call them.
government agents show up. That's kind of
Shit was
Picture-proof,
going
too.
down. Something was wrong, and it's like with this, it's more like two guys that just had a bad batch of moonshine, and a
Fred
meteor
and Ed.
passed by.
Get their
and
name
they're
right.
like,
Fred and Ed.
Fred and Ed. Fred and Ed just tripping out, just tripping balls. Yeah.
Which, you know what? That picture, by the way, that I posted on our poll for this, for the Flatwoods Monster, that is, that's good old May in that
What?
picture. May is
Really?
in this picture. Right here.
Let's pull it up if we can. Oh, there we go. Oh, which one? Okay. Oh, that's me?
Yeah, that's May.
Okay, I'm even less convinced now.
So May's the woman.
Oh, yes! Because Fred and Ed were the guys. I don't know if that's
Who's
Fred
the
or
dude?
Ed, but...
Who's the suit? I need to know.
But yes,
Who's
this
the
is
suit?
May right here. And
Okay.
this is the depiction of the Flatwoods Monster, everybody. If you're watching the video, this is what the original idea of it looked like. So it had holes for eyes that were green-orange. Its whole head was like Red Skull. And then it had this spade-like shroud around it, and its skin looked like it had clothing folds.
It's just a burnt-out candle. That's all it was.
You know what? I could see that in the image.
Like the candle.
Like a
Oh,
can-
yeah.
yeah, like a
It
candle
kind of looks
shape.
like,
Looks like
what
a
was his name?
candle.
Gaston? From Beauty and the Beast. The candle, wasn't that
no,
his name?
Gaston was the prick.
Oh, okay. Who was the candlestick?
I don't know.
He's
It's been
French,
years.
right? I think they were all French. I don't remember. It's been a long time. I don't know about that one.
But in the defense of what Jeremy's saying, Chad, you pointed out that the FBI showed up in the Mothman case, and this specific sighting made the local and national news, scaring a wider swath of people than just Braxton County, West Virginia. It then prompted a U.S. Air Force UFO inquiry, part of a project called Project Blue Book.
Oh.
That
Really?
dispatched a handful of investigators in and around the county to see if these such claims about the Flatwoods Monster were true.
Okay.
So,
Uh,
the U.S. Air Force was curious enough to put this in Project Blue Book and make it one of the cases that they've investigated over the years.
Okay, so take away the giant thing. It's an alien. A giant alien.
It's a fallen god. It's a chariot.
So let's say this real quick. So if this is an alien, it's the only one of its kind that's ever been reported. Have y'all ever heard of a report of a red-faced alien that's 10 feet tall?
No, but look at this guy.
Look how big!
That's a huge bitch.
And Chad, this will kind of put to rest your thinking about how it's gliding. The man's on the ground, and this thing is literally flying. It looks like 2 feet, a foot and a half off the
no
ground.
legs. Maybe it's got a jetpack under that shit.
I don't know. He looks like it's got Vegeta's armor from Dragon Ball Z on its chest.
It kind of does. Yeah, it's got that power armor. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of Tim Burton's, what was it, Mars Attacks?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Well, this happened in 1952, so what? That's possible.
Yeah, so around that time frame. Yeah.
It was national news.
Wow. So I'll say the fact that Project Blue Book got involved, it does convince me just a little bit more that there's something fishy about it. But in my defense as well for that, they were just kind of picking up anything and everything that they could during that time frame because it was mass media news.
Do you think, and this is slightly off topic, but it's the Project Blue Book, do you think that they were going for all these different claims because of they actually found shit with Roswell and they were like, okay, well, we've got to see, this could be bullshit or this could actually be the same thing?
I think it started off as something real. Like, I think the Roswell incident was the real deal. And then they were like, well, maybe we should start taking people's thoughts into consideration, you know, a little bit stronger. Anytime something's reported, let's go check it out. Even if it is just some phony baloney bullshit, we still need to investigate. Which is why there's so much stuff in there. But a lot of it is just kind of filler space, if you will.
And so now we know that the Flatwoods Monster, or the Green Monster, or Braxy is part of Project Blue Book.
It's interesting.
Does that change
I'd like to do
your
a
vote?
No. It doesn't change my vote because I feel like it's one of those cases where they were kind of like, well, we're just never going to revisit this because you never hear of it anymore. So they're like, this is either a lost cause.
What if they found it?
They found it, they grabbed it, they bagged it, they tagged it.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. We wouldn't know about it. That's fair.
I mean, I guess if they did catch it, they would just go around being like, you're full of shit, it was a meteor.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This one's hard for me, just because of the names of the people and all that insanity. It's hard for me, but
Fred, Ed, May.
I can't change my mind yet.
The
Someone's
Dillard
getting
boys.
strangled, or the
Well,
Dillard
think of it
boys.
like this.
Them Duke boys are.
Look at where
really
we grew
trouble.
up and all the wild names around here. So it's...
But also, I'm thinking about some of the people that I met while growing up there. You know, damn game warden's got more power than the law. Those type of people, you know. And it's like, yeah, okay, you know, Fred, it's... What'd you say you saw again? Well, some bitch was this big. And he keeps going, you know.
It was the Queen of Spades floating through the woods. Okay, so it sounds like that our vote with Halloween 365, the cast here has voted and outweighed Jeremy. We're voting that it was a misunderstanding. Not that aliens are, but that this specific alien, because I've heard a lot of alien stories, and this is the only one that I've ever heard with a nightgown.
Yeah.
And I've heard some shit.
No. Okay.
Anyways,
Well,
we don't have time to go to our backup cryptid, so I guess we can bring him up in the next one, because
yeah.
for the next one, if you guys are interested in this at all, the next one actually has a photo, and we'll do a little bit more digging. Maybe we can find more evidence, but there's a photo that is pretty fucking clear for a cryptid.
No, I'll give them that.
I mean, you see a lot of
Best
blurry
evidence
stuff.
I've ever seen. Yeah, this is the clearest thing I've probably ever seen.
Yeah.
Of anything, honestly. So,
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be.
Sorry, Jerem, you lost that one. Flatwoods Monster is going to be staying in
giant.
Flatwoods. But we do need to quickly talk about something that inspired one of the greatest horror franchises, I guess slasher franchises, that has been made. Whether you feel that way about most of the movies or not, that's up to you. But this was based on a true story. As I said earlier, it is the Gainesville Ripper, also known as Daniel Harold Rolling. And he was an American serial killer that murdered 5 students in Gainesville, Florida, over 4 days in August of 1990. Rolling later confessed to R-wording several of the victims, committing a triple homicide in Shreveport, Louisiana, and attempting to murder his own father in May of 1990. In total, Rolling confessed to killing 8 people, and he was sentenced to death for the 5 Gainesville murders in 1994 and was executed by lethal injection in 2006. So why was it this guy specifically that Scream was based on?
So, are you asking, or are you?
I mean, I want to hear if you guys have any knowledge toward the subject or thoughts on why you think.
Yeah. So I know a little bit. Typically, a lot of his victims were college students, I believe, and high school students, which kind of borrows from that whole aspect of teenage hormones kind of going wild and things like that we see in these movies and things like that. Also, because the screenwriter was watching the documentary on this gentleman as well at the time, and he had fallen asleep, I think, with his windows open or something. I can't remember specifically, but I know it freaked him out, and he thought, this is a story.
Yeah, that was the screenwriter Kevin Williamson.
Yeah. That's the extent of my knowledge on the incident. But
I would have said because maybe partially Wes Craven thought about it too, if he did, because this kind of sounds like what else is most famous for? Freddy Krueger. What, Freddy was a rapist who came after children. This guy raped and killed college people, so it's still like you said, the teenage
R
thing.
word.
yeah.
R word.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's documented. Can we really get some shit for that?
Yeah, because R word can be triggering.
Okay, well, to anybody listening, that was not the goal here. Sorry. Anyway.
Justin, I think we lost you on cam for his brief
Yeah,
second.
I don't know why.
That was really strange. Anyway. Yeah, I think that Wes Craven had a very strange mental mindset in general. Like, you know, I've heard the story about how he got the inspiration for Freddy. And it's a terrifying story. It honestly would scare the hell out of anyone that I know of. I know it would terrify me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the whole Scream issue. That was just a tragic situation.
Yeah.
Like,
Which
that
Kevin Williamson claims that he was inspired by a magazine article as well as the reports of the Gainesville Ripper that were going on the news at that time.
Yeah.
Didn't this guy say he had a demon talking to him or heard something like that in his head?
I don't know about that. I wouldn't be surprised. I think are you referring to the guy who
these are just based off of, the Danny Rolling, the actual Gainesville Ripper?
I don't think so. I don't remember reading anything about that. Justin, did that come up in the research at all?
I actually have a few quotes here. That way,
I know there was maybe not this guy in particular, but there was a gentleman who said his dogs talked to him.
Yeah, that was Son of Sam.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Son of
Son of
Sam.
Sam was a whole other
Apparently-
thing.
Yeah,
This-
this dude apparently in court said his motive was to become a superstar similar to Ted Bundy.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is your Gainesville Ripper.
Yeah.
This is Danny Rolling. And basically, he was charged for killing those 5 students. He had, quote-unquote, mutilated his victims' bodies, even cutting the head off of one, and then he posed them, sometimes using mirrors in his poses. In the early morning of August 24th, he broke into an apartment shared by 17-year-old university freshmen Sonia Larson and Christina Powell. Finding Powell asleep downstairs, he stood over her briefly and did not wake her, choosing to explore the house before doing so instead. He goes upstairs, he tapes Powell's mouth shut, bound her wrists together behind her back, and threatened her with a knife and cut her clothes off. And you can tell where it's going to go from there. But he did this with those 2 victims and then 3 others. And then that's not even including the Shreveport murders. I don't see anything specifically about him saying that he was possessed. He was diagnosed with an antisocial personality disorder and borderline personality disorder. But I don't see anything about him being possessed or talking to a demon. He just claimed that he wanted to be, like Jeremy said, a superstar, like Ted Bundy.
See, how messed up is that? People are died because you're just nuttier than squirrel shit. Like,
I don't know, man. No swimming, apparently. No swimming.
Well, the Scream Ghostface has done way more than Sir Gainesville Ripper.
Yeah.
Although
I
it
mean-
was not based in the same place, right? It's not in.
Yeah, it's not in.
They used a completely different name.
Yeah, Woodsboro, California.
yeah.
I think it's Woodsboro, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think that if we're talking about movies, it's definitely some of the best work that I've seen in cinema. Yeah. Sucks that it's the tragic shit that happened. I question sometimes. It's like, if those events never happened, would the movies turned out successful? And I know that sounds horrible to say, but what I mean is, like, do people gravitate things that are based on true stories more than they do things that are not? You know what I mean?
I feel like the true stories help, I guess, with lighting a spark to their
I
imagination.
think so too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, which, like you said, that's something that's proven for a lot of different horror movies.
Yeah. The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's not even get. We've
Texas
already
Chainsaw
revealed Ed and Lorraine. We know what
Let me
Ed.
tell you something about Ed and Lorraine.
We got a few stories.
You need to go back, if you haven't already. You need to hear those stories about Ed and Lorraine.
Yeah, you need to go listen to our Ed and Lorraine
Jesus
special we
Christ.
did. Was going to be a 3-part special, but we
I'll
lost
get
a
out
little
of
bit of
that
respect for old Ed.
quick. Yeah. More than a
That's
little.
not funny.
But yes, Scream
Yeah.
series, one of the best slasher series that is, well, especially best performing and one of the most notorious.
Oh yeah, hands down.
I would say the best franchise slasher.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen the new one, so I don't know. So
Even new one, even if you include the new one, I would still have to say they probably, even though I personally was not a huge fan of it, I think that they still hold the record.
So wait, I've got a question.
Yes.
No spoilers for any of our fans if you listen to this
Oh,
ahead of
no.
time.
Oh yeah.
But would Wes have been done proud? Do you think he would have enjoyed it?
That's a tough one. God, that's hard. That is hard. Why would you make me? Why would you? Oh.
Because he had a specific style that he was moving the movie.
Yes, I think he would be. I really do. I think he would be proud. Because, no spoilers, of course. We're a spoiler-free podcast. But it's something Wes would fucking do. It's something I could totally see Wes fucking doing something like this and just going, I can't do the hand gesture. But anyway, all the way to the bank. All the way to the bank, baby. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Yeah.
That was. I feel like that was an important question, especially for people that are horror fans and know how that he did his movies. I was just curious because you said that you weren't. The more you think about it, you're not fond of it. But then you're like, this is something that the son of a bitch would have did.
I don't know. Like, I'm so fucking torn over this movie. It fucked me up, man. Like, I couldn't stop thinking about it after watching it, and I was like, I don't know if I love it, hate it. It's either genius or it's batshit crazy. It's one of the two, and I still don't know. I still haven't made my mind up.
Well, make a video about it and give us your full thoughts and breakdown of what you think.
Yeah, we'll have to. We'll have to.
Put all the spoilers in there, and then if anybody's wanting to see it, they can go see his. Fill that son of a bitch full of spoilers.
You guys need to go see it tonight.
If we don't get the blizzard, I haven't looked outside.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Stay away from the damn internet.
Buddy.
Stay away from the internet if you haven't seen this movie yet. Like, don't click the comments. Don't go watch any trailers. Don't do any goddamn thing. Stay away. Spoilers are out there. They are lurking.
People are dropping them. They're dropping them in the comments.
Seriously, stay the fuck away. They're out there. Don't do it. Don't do it. And if you spoil it, fuck you. You're a piece of shit. Okay. Anyway, I rest my case. Anything else, guys? Justin, any birthdays, movies, anything?
We've declared the Flatwoods Monster is a hoax. We've talked about the Gainesville Ripper and how he is the inspiration for Ghostface. Today in horror history, the only thing that we can talk about is the fact that in 2007 the movie Asylum was released. Army of the Dead was released in 2008 today on the 15th of January. And the movie The Book of Eli was released in 2010 today.
That's a good movie, man.
Oh, and Return from the Living Dead Part 2 was released in 1988 today.
Also a really good movie. A little cheesy, but really good. Well, folks, join us next week. Hopefully we'll be back on schedule. I'm assuming we'll be back on schedule. It is a very busy season at all three of us, our jobs. And
we're trying to put out content in all directions, too. We're trying to put our fillers out as far as we can go.
Video version should be up. Oh, cue the screams. The video version should be up later. I hope. I'm going to try to get to it as soon as possible. It's usually up the same day, but sometimes it takes a little longer.
The video version, we didn't say this, the video version is going to be on our YouTube for the podcast, which is the Halloween 365 podcast. You should be able to search for the channels, find it there. We've only got the Beast of Bray Road video up, but we'll put the full video up and chop it into some clips. That way, if you wanted to skip around without having to hear the banter, you can do that too.
Yep. We also have full episodes on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts. I think we're on Amazon. We're everywhere. Just go seek us out. You'll find us. We're the one, the only Halloween 365 podcast. Have a good weekend, everyone. Hope everybody's being safe out there.
We're easier to find than the Flatwoods Monster.
That's 100% true.